Thank you, Scott. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a hugely anticipated game in the city of Valencia. Little Levante, going so well in La Liga and in the Europa League, facing the ultimate challenge. Juan Ignacio Martinez, the coach who's done such a brilliant job here. And the atmosphere is quite sensational here tonight. Barcelona level on points now at the top. They are top, ahead of Atletico Madrid, who've equalled their points total of 34 after that handsome win over Sevilla earlier. Levante kicking off in joint fifth, but with the opportunity with the win to go back into the fourth Champions League place and to within 3 points of Real Madrid. And don't be fooled, by the way, Levante in the Barcelona colours. It is their normal strip. Barca in their change of yellow and orange.
I call it their tequila sunrise strip, Kevin.
Striding forward purposefully here is Busquets. Away by Ballesteros, coming back at Levante though via Fabregas. Pedro. Nicely worked with Dani Alves. Back with Pedro again, looking for Alves. A great move. Goalkeeper did just enough to shut the door on Alves.
Yeah, just watching that build-up as well down the right-hand side, Kevin, and you can see Dani Alves and Pedro pushing on, and they'll always have double cover, you can see, before the ball comes into the box, and he's level. I think he's level. I thought that was a really harsh decision, but early on in the game, difficult for the officials to get them right all the time. We know that, it's such a fast pace, but that's something they're going to have to work on tonight. Certainly Elzar and Lel on the right-hand side are going to have to double up to prevent Pedro and Iniesta and these people breaking forward.
Only two of these players, Ballesteros and Iborra, have started the last two games. The coach, Martinez, made 8 changes from the win against Deportivo to the midweek Europa League victory in Sweden against Helsingborg, which underlines the depth that Levante have got in their squad these days. And this Barcelona lineup, arguably, Gerry, their strongest.
I would think so. You know, the results certainly an experience of Piqué and Puyol at the back. Whenever those two play together, they don't lose. But Puyol just back from an arm injury. Obviously needs the matches, and it'll do Mascherano no harm to get a little rest. But the front five, Kevin, and I'll say that five because, you know, you've got Iniesta and you've Cesc, you've Messi, you've Xavi, you've Pedro, all attack-minded players.
Here's Busquets. Dani Alves. Messi loses out to Diop.
It's a shame.
Pass meant for Juan Lu.
It's a shame because Bakero had a lot of time to play the good ball there, and that's what they're going to do in the break. They'll absorb the pressure, they're stubborn, they'll work tremendously hard, they'll make their tackles, they'll close down, and then they'll try and hit Barcelona on the break. I think it's the same tactics for every team that plays Barcelona now, Kevin.
Here's Piqué, 3 games back, 3 wins. Puyol, as Gerry rightly mentioned, had an elbow injury. He's had others already this season, knee and a cheekbone. So he's certainly seen the treatment table up close and personal this season. Carlos Puyol. There's Fabregas. Jordi Alba. Iniesta's made a good run. Fabregas trying to feed it. So good to see this stadium full, Gerry. Only half the size of Valencia's Mestalla. Of course, they are the second club in this city, have lived under the shadow of Valencia, and it's been quite a giant one over the last few decades, but they're staring Valencia very much in the eye and beyond so far this season. Messi, now Puyol, Jordi Alba, support here from Iniesta, Fabregas, Xavi, tidied up by Juan Lu. Here's Diop. Now Obafemi Martins. Foul on the Nigerian.
He's a handful, isn't he? He's pacey, he's strong. Obafemi Martins. He's their top goal scorer, Kevin, as well. 5 goals in the league this season. He's tackled from behind by Busquets, doesn't get enough of the ball. Any sort of tackles from behind now are being punished in all the top leagues. It's a welcome free kick for Levante. And it's Jose Baquero, I think, taking it.
This will be the left foot of Baquero. Ballesteros is forward for it. This is a club who don't operate on a big budget, Gerry, and to be going so well on 2 separate fronts, great credit to Martinez and this squad.
Absolutely, we've sung their praises for 2 years now. They've well and truly punched above their weight for the last 2 seasons. Play good football, and you know they've got a very experienced back four, but it's an aging back four. They're all in their early to mid 30s. You know, we've talked about Ballesteros. And again, you know, 2 or 3 years ago we were saying he was so big, how can he run? But he can run, and he does make great challenges, and he does play decent football. And you have to take your hat off to Levante. Credit to them.
Mistake there by Elzar, former Liverpool player. Martins wants the pass. He didn't want it there.
The pass from Diop was just a little bit too strong. Idea was good. Jim, Jose Ignacio Martinez, and he's got to be very proud of his team, and he'd love them to put one over. They've taken points, they've won against Real Madrid, and they've won against the big clubs, but they haven't won against Barcelona for a long, long time.
Here's Martins. Can't collect the pass, and Jordi Alba got it away. And there's plenty of time here for Carlos Puyol. Barcelona with a 100% away record in the league. 6 games played, 23 goals scored away from the Camp Nou in the league.
You were talking about Piqué and Puyol, Kevin, earlier when they play together. It's a long time since they have lost a game when they're playing together, obviously.
Osasuna away, February 2011.
What's that? 20 months ago, roughly. Now here's the break on. That's a great ball.
Raking pass, and Martins just too quick initially for Puyol, who just managed to get an important foot in. Well, any thoughts that Obafemi Martins' blistering pace had diminished after he was allowed to leave the Russian club Rubin Kazan on a free? Here's Juan Lu. That's disappointing.
Well, you could see what he was trying to do. You had Juan Fran overlapping on the outside. Juan Lu used him as a decoy to come inside on his right foot, try to bend it in the top right-hand corner. He couldn't quite implement the skill he wanted, and it was well wide and high. But again, you see the threat. That ball over the top, though, of Puyol for the pace of Obafemi Martins. It's a shame it just got stuck under his leg, because that was a very good opportunity.
Here's Alves. Iniesta. He did well to get his cross in. Nobody attacked it, though. Away by Juan Fran. Piqué. Iniesta brought that out of the dark sky over Valencia quite beautifully.
His touch was brilliant, Kevin, wasn't it? Make those touches look so simple. That's good control as well by Dani Alves. And Wanlu was making sure he wasn't going any further. This is the skill we're talking about. Great close control, and then he dinks it to the far post. It's a shame Pedro didn't attack it.
It's like he's got the ball on a piece of elastic, Iniesta, when he makes those moves. So difficult to defend. Fabregas. Barcelona fresh from another Champions League win in Russia against Spartak Moscow. Played well, Gerry?
Absolutely fantastic. They played. They could have won 6-0. And credit to them for the journey, and the cold weather never affected them. Nearly the same side, only one change. I think Mascherano played at the back instead of Puyol, and other than that, it was the same side. But they wanted to win the group, which they've done with one match still remaining. And that's a big game still, because Benfica, even though Barcelona's qualified in their top of the group, it's who's going to finish second, and Benfica go to Barcelona in a couple of weeks' time, and Celtic will be hoping that they can win their match against Spartak. Otherwise, they'll need Barcelona to do them a favour against Benfica. But I expect Tito Villanova just to pick a side that he feels will be good enough to win the match or get points out of the match, and that means the likes of Tello, who's on the bench tonight, and Song, Adriano, Montoya might all get games, but they're all quality players.
Here's Messi. Chance of a break here for Levante. Set up nicely by Martins. It's a lovely pass into the path here of Wanlu. Puyol's missed it. Here's Elzar. Barquero, good left foot, hit it well! And Valdez has to make an elastic stop from the left foot of Jose Barquero.
That's quality football, isn't it? Quality football from from Levante against Barcelona, and the counter-attack. And again, it looked like there wasn't any danger, but Barquero on his left foot brings the best out of Valdez, who's forced to tip it over. Good break down the left-hand side from Wanlu, though, initially, Kevin, and it's a shame no one got on the end of the cross.
Juanfran's header. A little inquiry from Victor Valdez as to how Juanfran got the space he did.
This is Barquero coming inside on his left foot. It's a good strike.
Scored in this fixture last season, Barquero, 2-1 defeat.
Yeah, he gave them the lead, didn't he? And then a little man called Messi popped up. Now there's a problem, it looks like, and it's Montoya who's coming on, which means Dani Alves is struggling. Was it that challenge, Kevin? You know, in the corner flag earlier, did he damage his ankle or twist something or pull something? It looks like he's going to have to come off very, very early.
Well, not what clearly Tito Villanova would have expected so early on here, but it's a quality replacement in Martin Montoya, who's made full league starts this season when Valdez was out with injury. And in fact, when Alves recovered from his last injury, he didn't get straight back into the side. That's how well this boy was playing.
He's quality, Kevin. He just needs more opportunities. He was a star in the under-21 side. He's been called up into the full squad, and you know, he's earmarked for future stardom. He's going to be a regular fixture at Barcelona for many years to come.
21 years old, Montoya.
Another one brought through the ranks, which we can say about most of them. Even the ones that left and came back again, Piqué and Fabregas, all started off in the academy.
Well, now that Dani Alves has gone off, Gerry, all 11 out there are products of La Masia.
That's a great quote for any Barcelona fan or season ticket holder.
Here's Busquets.
It's interesting, Kevin, on the day of the Catalan elections. Oh, was that a handball?
It wasn't much of an appeal, was it?
I think it was maybe blindsided the referee, but definitely it bounced off a leg and looked like it hit his arm. And this is the injury. No, he's won the ball there, Wanlu, clearly, but he's done something there. I don't know if he's twisted his ankle or he's pulled something. Maybe his studs get caught in the ground. Certainly was unintentional. One of those freak accidents.
Piqué. Xavi. Messi. Space here now for Jordi Alba. Was he obstructed there by Christian Lell?
Oh, that's good play.
German fullback tidies up nicely in the end. Haven't been too many Germans that have played in La Liga. Christian Lell brought in on a free from Hertha Berlin in the summer. I suppose the best known one possibly is Bernd Schuster.
I played against Bernd Schuster when he was at Barcelona. Excellent player. He was in the same side as Maradona. Steve Archibald played in that team as well.
I love the way these players come in from other countries and they just get their first name. It's even been shortened from Christian to just Chris on the back of his shirt. I bet he wasn't called Chris in Germany. But you're right, Gerry, to mention the elections in Catalonia. It's two results they'll be looking out for today.
Those are the two big ones for everybody associated with Catalonia. And Barcelona just, well, they've that many records. You know, if they win tonight, Kevin, they equal Real Madrid's record from 1991-92. And Messi's looking for records, and there's goal scoring records. There's all sorts of records. Piqué's looking for his 100th win.
This is Xavi Hernandez. Jordi Alba is a little hasty with a pass, but trying to make amends for that, but Alzar gets there first.
That pace of Alba there put him off, Kevin, and that's what helped them to win the ball back. Look how tight the back four are. They're really narrow. You know, they're not out wide, they're really narrow, because they know that's where Barcelona penetrate, right through the middle, the little 1-2s. We haven't seen too much of Messi. There's not been a lot of space for him.
Levante have only lost once at home in the league this season. That was in the puddles and the rain against Real Madrid a fortnight ago. Here's Barquero looking for Martins. Comfortable intervention for Puyol.
It's a great outlet, isn't it, though? You've got the pace of Obafemi Martins, and every time you see him on the shoulder of Puyol or Piqué, sticking a ball in space behind them. Here's Pedro.
Messi. Xavi trying to provide the layoff for Fabregas. Run back by Jordi Alba. Oh, lovely touch. Messi receives from Xavi. This is Iniesta. Back with Messi. Couldn't get it out of his feet. Mesmeric passing and movement there.
Unbelievable. It was so tight, you know, it was calling out for somebody to take a shot, really. Lovely little flick from Xavi. Back in his path of Messi, and Messi and he playing little 1-2s. Just would love to see someone get a strike off and test the goalkeeper. Well, he's got a one-on-one against Juan Fran, and Juan Fran far too experienced for him there, Pedro, wasn't he?
Tell you what, though, at the age of 36, Juan Fran won't want Pedro running at him too much tonight. And there's a lovely ball that releases Juan Lu looking for Martins. Alzar's in there. Just about stands eyeball to eyeball with Jordi Alba at that far post.
Oh, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. The breakaway is excellent. And Obafemi Martins has gone from 5 yards behind the two centre-backs to getting in front and causing problems. It's a decent ball.
Barquero almost getting Juan Lu away there, but they've got genuine pace in that front three. Alzar, Martins, Juan Lu. Xavi. Jordi Alba. Andres Iniesta. Fabregas. Montoya providing the width. Claiming he was fouled by Juan Lu. The officials decide that the Levante player did enough.
He's done well tracking all the way back. Juan Lu, he gets in there, he uses his shoulder to get himself across. Montoya, who had the last touch, and it's a goal kick. But that's what we were saying earlier, Kevin, about the wide player in midfield in either side going to help. Now that's where I think he may have been able to get a shot in, Messi. You know, half a yard and then strike it. It could have took a deflection off one of the centre backs and hit the target, but that's where they're going to have to do a lot more of.
Here's Ballesteros. Well, an aimless ball from the Levante captain, the oldest player on the pitch at 37. Just a year younger, the left-back Juan Fran.
You can't get in the back four unless you're over 33, Kevin. That's one of the prerequisites.
Pedro. Messi. Lovely dart away from two. And whistles wide of Munier's left-hand post as he goes in search of his 81st goal this calendar year.
Well, that's what I was talking about. That's more like it. Ball in, turns, he skips past the defender and he gets the shot off, and that's inches wide of the far post. And that's what he's very good at. Doesn't matter about the defenders, Navarro and Ballesteros. If he does that, Kevin, and gets shots off, he'll score goals.
Just 5 short of Gerd Muller's world record, set in 1972.
He's got about 7 or 8 games to get in as well when you add the Copa del Rey into it, and the one more Champions League match as well. Well, here he is.
Lifted in, almost onto the head of Pedro.
Oh,
It's back with Messi. Don't want to be giving him gifts like that, but he can't release Iniesta. Lel was in the way.
I think that was what Dave meant, but it certainly was fortunate. Now the brakes on once again down the left side.
Juan Lu. Given rather easily to Xavi, taken on here by Iniesta. Xavi.
Starting to get shots from the edge of the box in. Xavi's a good striker of the ball. I think they'll want to close him down a little bit more than that. Not too far away.
Good news for Tito Villanova is that Xavi believes that he's over his niggling injuries now. He had a bit of a chronic Achilles problem, but the medical staff have worked hard on him. Looks as though he can play regular games now.
The good thing is last season with Fabregas coming in, he was able to rest him, and Fabregas could play up front or play in the midfield position. And I think he originally was brought in to do that job, but they all rotate. You know, we watch Iniesta playing in the front three, we watch Iniesta playing in the midfield three. You know, there's a 5 there that they can play anywhere. They just rotate. Pedro plays wide 1 minute, the next minute he's through the middle, as does this little man, Messi.
Xavi's in talks, incidentally, over a new deal. It'll almost certainly happen. He wants to end his career with Barcelona. Close to 650 games now. Went past Migueli's record, and I understand Migueli is here tonight. Gerry, you remember him?
I do. His nickname was Tarzan. He was a big centre-back, very uncompromising. I've had several encounters with him.
Both of them are still carrying the bruises.
I think we're all carrying bruises when he was around, and so was Goycochea and Athletic Bilbao. No, this is where I think they can be dangerous on the break.
Options for Messi. Iniesta makes a great run. Oh, and it was almost the perfect pass. Lels across to cover. Xavi snapped into the feet, but not quite the control needed from Pedro.
Juan Fran's got injured by his goalkeeper, I think. Manuel's caught him. I think Pedro's presence was the reason for that, but his first touch let him down, Kevin. He should have controlled the ball. All Juan Fran wants to do is just to make sure the keeper gets it, but the keeper comes and takes it feet first and takes Juan Fran with him. He's always like to roll around in the ground, Juan Fran, he'll be fine.
Been around a bit, the left back, played in Turkey and Greece and the Netherlands, had a spell on loan with Ajax.
Celta Vigo, I remember him playing for as well. Could play at centre half at a push. I've seen him play centre back many times, but left back is definitely his best position.
Fabregas. Offside.
Tight. Yeah, he's offside. It's just, what, a foot and a half? You can see Juan Fran, experienced Juan Fran, stepping up, knowing that Pedro's making the run, and he just about got it right.
Messi.
Oh, that's uncharacteristic for Messi. Second touch, he overhit it just a little bit. It's happened a few times.
This is Christian Lel asking Martins to make his movement a little deeper so he could provide the cross.
That's asking too much. Whoever the wide players are on this side, the Levante side, know they're going to have to work tremendously hard and get forward as quickly and as often as possible. He's asking a little bit too much of Iborra.
Busquets. Pedro. Now Messi. Xavi. Iniesta. Nice ball from Iniesta. Fabregas trying to work a little 1-2 with Pedro. Diop. Well, fortunate to retain possession there. That's an online offering for you on Monday via Sky Sports Extra. Zaragoza against Celta, and see all the goals Tuesday in the highlights programme, 6:30 Sky Sports 2 HD. Busquets. Freedom of the stadium here for Montoya. Quite prepared to sit deep here, Levante. Here's Messi. Well reached by Navarro. A shot safely gathered by Munya. Decent effort.
Well, it tried a little dink over the top. It was headed out. by the centre-back. And then the volley from Xavi's on target. Munya happy just to get it. He's not really been forced to make too many saves coming up to half an hour. That's the first real save he's had to make, Kevin. Couple of long-range shots from Messi and Xavi from outside the box. But again, they've shown that they're a threat on the counter-attack if they can get a decent ball to Obafemi Martins. It's pinpoint play from Victor Valdez.
Half an hour gone of heavy Barcelona possession. But Levante have proven obdurate opponents this season. 20 games in all competitions, 9 clean sheets. Here's Barquero. Martins. Wanlu on his outside. Nobody really in the middle. Wanlu is looking to provide the cross. He might still get a cross in. He does! And Barquero just can't quite adjust his body to cause a problem for Victor Valdez.
Great play, Wanlu again. He's got through so much work defensively. Then breaking forward on the overlap. He gets the ball, sticks it through the legs of Gerard Piqué, and then manages to cut it back to Barquero. He's off balance, the ball's slightly behind him and he can't get it on target, but it's excellent counter-attacking football from the home side Levante.
He's been a star in this Levante side for a couple of years now. Wanlu, he's having a purple patch in the twilight years of his career, really, at the age of 32. He had a very modest career prior to that, but saw his quality there. No problem for Piqué. Here's Montoya. Iniesta. Held up well by Iborra. Wasn't the best of passes though for Diop.
Yeah, that's what they're doing poorly for me, Kevin. They're working hard to win the ball and then they're not even getting 2 passes before they give it away. But part of that's down to good anticipation from Barcelona players. But look at how congested it is in the edge of that 18-yard box. You know, 2 banks of 4 and a 2. And they just narrow it up and say, well, you know, you want to play 1-2s and get past this. There's loads of blue shirts. And that's what's making it difficult to try and complete the passes. Just think they need to get players to the byline more.
Pedro's coming in off that right flank quite a bit, congesting the space. And I suppose Iniesta being a central midfield player by choice and not having somebody like Teo out there, you do diminish the width in the play.
He's the option though in the second half if they want. The pace of Pedro is, or sorry, Teo is unbelievable. Pedro again, he'll love to get one-on-ones, but he usually comes inside to leave space for Dani Alves. Now it's going to be Montoya to go outside, but they need to get players into the byline. That's what they've struggled to do so far.
Fabregas, Iniesta. Xavi. Cesc Fabregas. Iniesta.
And this is it, this is now.
Jordi Alba, well blocked by Lel.
Well, that's better work, Kevin. That's what I'm talking about. Getting Jordi Alba in on the overlap, creating an opportunity. Could have done a wee bit more, getting the ball closer to the byline. The weight of the pass for Jordi Alba, but he's won a corner kick.
Messi. Piqué can't find any room. Here's Elzar.
That's a shame. Wanlu working hard to get breaking away. Again, the ball given away too cheaply for me.
Jordi Alba. Lots to the right for Xavi to pick out. Montoya. Pedro. Xavi. Iniesta. Levante players just making sure they check every move here. Gaps are few and far between.
Yep, they're organised, Kevin. They're very well organised, but you have to stretch them, create one-on-one situations.
Two centre-backs, Ballesteros and Navarro, have barely moved out of the same 3 square metres of the pitch. In by Montoya. Might have been balked there, Xavi.
Yeah, he's got the free kick. Fouled by Wanlu. They just want to take it short. That's where he's pushed there. Well, they're going to take it short. It looks like PK's coming forward, so maybe an opportunity for Messi to put one in with a bit of pace on it from the right-hand side with his left foot. Always difficult for defenders to try and defend any sort of a touch. High line as well. They're pushed right up to the edge of the D.
Messi looking for either Piqué or Puyol in there. Header came in, but it really lacked any power to trouble the Uruguayan, Gustavo Muñoz. Fed in by Juan Fran.
Difficult to deal with.
Fabregas playing left back.
This is the ball in. Well, he's not offside. Certainly a player that had it wasn't.
It's Pedro got his head to it.
He did. And he helped it on a little bit, just flicked it onto the near post. And there's Jim getting excited, looking to get them forward and head on the break.
He'll be loving this, Martinez, to pit his wits against Tito Villanova and Barcelona. Here's Juan Fran. Oh! Might well have been offside anyway if Obafemi Martins had got a touch to that.
Well, it's Juan Fran's shot come cross at the far post. He peels off. He's unmarked, totally unmarked. I think it's a shot. And he wasn't offside when the shot was actually taken. I think Martins, had he scored, it would have counted, Kevin.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gerry. The replay showed he was level with Piqué.
That doesn't mean the linesman wouldn't have flagged.
Lucky break here for Barca. Here's Xavi. Wonderful turn from Messi.
Oh, deflected.
Well, you were talking about that earlier, the willingness to take shots on. You never know what kind of defection you're going to get. But this was close for Martins.
He's onside when he hits it, Kevin. He's level and he's onside. Now, if he gets a touch on that and it hits the target, it's got to be a goal. You know, and that's where you can get caught. He gets a touch on it, but not enough definite touch to hit the target. And Puyol and Piqué both up for this corner.
In by Iniesta. Xavi. Puyol did well that stretch. Here's Andres Iniesta. Busquets. Fabregas. Iniesta. Jordi Alba is wide of him.
The idea was good. Well cut out. Now the break is on. This is what they've worked on all week. And it's on the right side.
This is Diop. Obafemi Martins. Just trying to buy a little nudge there out of Piqué, and he was sure to have gone down had he got one.
On the break, there's 3 or 4 Levante players out of the game and a chance for Barcelona to hit them on the break. Here's Pedro.
Messi makes a good run. Well blocked by Navarro.
And Bakero trying to lay the ball off, gives it away too cheaply once again. Need to keep possession better than that, Levante.
Pedro can't get it past Juan Lu. Bakero runs into trouble. Xavi. Fabregas, wide here for Montoya. Busquets for Messi. Iniesta. Jordi Alba, it's beautifully done. Oh, Iborra scrambles it away for a corner.
Superb football from Barcelona, and again, Kevin, that's the second time they've got to the byline. Lovely play here. Messi attacking people, I think, causes a problem. And yes, there's great awareness for the reverse pass to Juanma, and again, Jordi Alba, and again, when he pulls it back, so many blue shirts there.
Xavi's corner, free header for Piqué.
Well, getting a few chances now in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Jim looks a little bit perturbed. Free header from Piqué. Somebody has to be marking him. He's the tallest player in the team for Barcelona.
No Levante player even began to track the run there of Piqué, and there was nothing particularly intricate about the run.
See, sometimes I think because Barcelona's a small side, they tend to think, well, we don't need to pick anybody up because of nobody of height. But there is Busquets and there is Piqué, who are 6'1", 6'2". And then Puyol, although he's only 5'11", he's a handful. Great first touch.
Messi.
There's a sliding diving tackle. He's two-footed as well.
Taken quickly by Xavi. Iniesta looks to take on Lel. Did well to make sure that didn't travel towards his own goal. David Navarro.
He's done brilliant, Navarro. Done brilliant. That's twice he's got back in his own box. Quite easily have put it in his own goal. But Iniesta on one-on-one situation, he's so fleet-of-footed and he's quick skills. And oh, super play.
Well, they're cranking up the pressure here as we head towards half-time. Messi.
He had no shot at the end of it, Kevin. For such good play, someone's got to get a strike on the edge of the box and hit the target, test the goalkeeper.
Xavi. Fabregas. 2 for company. Messi. Xavi. Put out quite easily by Navarro. Bakero. Juan Lu. Well, they could do with a half-time whistle now. Levante, they've had an awful lot of defending to do.
That's a good ball.
Pedro getting a chunk of Juan Fran.
Well, he doesn't necessarily have to get a chunk of Juan Fran. I think Juan Fran loves to milk it. It's just a coming together of two legs, that's all. Pedro's done nothing wrong. 50-50 ball. Juan Fran's nicked it.
Playing a minimum of 1 minute stoppage time. And for all Barcelona's possession, how many saves has Munya had to make?
Well, defenders have kicked it off the line, and there's been lots of bodies in the way, but I can only remember one, Kevin, really. There's only one save that he's had to make. That's just my point. Pressure, teams knowing the way they play. Messi gets a ball and plays a 1-2. They just go for the return pass because they know it's coming back to Messi.
One save of note from Gustavo Munya, one shot from Messi that whistled just past a post. They've had an awful lot of possession, but nothing to show for it so far, the league leaders. It's 0-0 at the break. Welcome back to the city of Valencia Stadium, where Levante, despite having very little of the possession, did create 2 or 3 half chances. One in particular for Obafemi Martins, and he got more on his header from the edge of the 6-yard box. Could easily have put Levante into a 1-0 half-time lead. Villanova will want more of an end product to the masses of possession his team had in that first 45 minutes. Levante have only ever beaten Barcelona once in 14 previous league meetings. That was way back in 1964. Here's Baquero, who brought a good save out of Valdez in that first half. The reason why this isn't a particularly historic La Liga fixture is this is only Levante's 8th season amongst the elite, and it's the first time they've spent 3 successive seasons in the top flight of Spanish football. And yet here they are, looking for the win that will take them into a Champions League place. And they're already in the last 32 of the Europa League. They'll be at home to Hanover, who've also qualified in their last match, and that will decide who finishes as group winners. And a great season so far for Levante.
It's fairy tale stuff, Kevin, it really is, and we have to praise them on such a low budget as well. You know, they do tremendously well, but it's about spirit, it's about the manager. Oh, that's a great ball.
And Messi scores. It was almost inevitable. Once he darted beyond that Levante defence, got a slight deflection on its way, but it's most certainly yet another goal for Lionel Messi, his 25th of the season.
Well, let's have a look at this run. He's turned now, centre back there. Navarro sees the danger, he tries to get across, but it's too late. And you know, when they switch off, they've switched off at half-time, Kevin. He's about 10 yards away from him, but he's playing him onside. And Messi sees the space, the pass is made. Wonderful pass from Iniesta, and he's on it in the flash. And you don't need to give him chances like that. He knows exactly what to do. Chips it over the advancing goalkeeper. 1-0, that's the breakthrough. 81st goal of the calendar year, his 25th goal of the season, 18th in the league, Kevin. This little man, I don't think there's anybody better than him.
Well, he's on exactly the same mark for goals in games as in the last 2 seasons. 20 matches, 25 goals. He got 73 last season. If he stays fit and remains at Barcelona, which is his wish, how many is he going to end up with?
Just breaking records, isn't he? And if they go on and win this match tonight, they'll have equalled another record set by Real Madrid from 1991-92. And they've just playing some fantastic football over the last 3-4 years. And there's times teams park the bus and 2 or 3 buses and they just go about their business. They play their style of football, which is pleasing to see. And they've got some great technicians and magicians in the side.
Was it just a case of Levante getting caught cold in the early moments of the second half, Gerry, or about the quality of Iniesta's pass?
It was a bit of both, Kevin, for me. I think Iniesta saw the pass was on and Messi saw what was on, but I think they came out and they were a little bit dead in the brain. The 2 centre-backs for me were both sleeping, Ballesteros and Navarro, and Navarro suddenly realised the pass was on. Messi was going to get it and he had to get across, but he couldn't cover the distance. He couldn't get to him and close him down before he stuck the ball over the top of the advancing goalkeeper, Manua. Good ball
by Iborra. This is Diop trying to help it back into the path of Barquero. Busquets manages to help it away eventually.
Is that going to change the mindset of Levante because they're losing? Or they're going to become a little bit more offensive?
On the volley!
Oh, good effort.
Great technique from Barquero.
Well, that's a snapshot from nowhere. Difficult skill. Ball flicked up into the air, nothing on, bang, he hits it sweet with the left foot. It's not too far away from the far post. Sometimes these go in. Good strike. Now, we're seeing a more adventurous Levante, Kevin.
Well, it could yet end up not being the worst thing to happen to the home side to go behind, because, as Gerry said, it'll change their game plan now. They'll have to be a little bit more adventurous, and they've got quality up front. We've seen that. But equally, if they do take more risks, Barcelona have most certainly got the ability to find more goals. Pedro. Won't reach Messi. Ballesteros in the way. Montoya. Pedro. Messi. Here's Andres Iniesta. Takes on Lel. Cuts it back. Messi! Set up by Andres Iniesta. And look out, Gerd Müller. Messi's closing in.
Well, same combination, Kevin, same 2 players. And, you know, we're talking world class here. Iniesta's a world class player who gets into these opportunities to byline, and you know, Ballesteros isn't too far away from him, but once he's got the ball and he's running one-on-one into the penalty area, you know he's going to cut it back, and he does. He cuts it back straight to Messi, and Messi doesn't miss from that range. It's telepathic almost between the 2 of them. The little man knows where he's going to cut it back. That's just brilliant. He dispatches it into the bottom corner of the net.
Just a little feint here, wasn't there? That he's going to strike the ball in. That's what fooled the fullback, Lel.
He looked as if he was going to cross it, a normal cross, but he didn't. He cut it back. And you're right, there's a hesitation, but that's a deliberate hesitation from Andres Iniesta. And 2 assists in this game alone, 2 big assists. And they've broken the deadlock, and they've opened it up totally. The 2-goal cushion means Levante have to throw caution to the wind and start to be a little bit more adventurous. And that could mean a 3rd or a 4th goal. I watched them punish Spartak Moscow on Tuesday night, and you know, it could have been 6-0 away from home. Not an easy place to go, but this is the way they play.
Messi scores twice for the 4th successive game.
Kevin, there's 38 minutes as well left on the clock. Quite ominous for Levante.
Xavi. Montoya.
Montoya's done well. He's played the ball off Juan Fran. And you can see the heads have gone down a little bit in the Levante side, and the crowd's gone a wee bit quiet. Except for the cheering of the Barcelona fans. There's probably as many Barcelona fans in the city of Valencia Stadium tonight as there is Levante fans.
Well, you've talked about that record, Gerry, that they're trying to equal of Real Madrid's back in the early 90s. Villanova's producing better figures than even Pep Guardiola. It's quite astonishing.
I think he's astonishing everybody, including the players. I mean, I think Xavi's actually come out and said, you know, to his credit, that, you know, they've done even better than they'd hoped. That's the test, though, isn't it, of a squad and a team and a manager.
I think they always knew he was a good coach, Gerry. He was, of course, as the number 2 under Pep Guardiola, a good tactician, but he's brought his personality to the role, to the post, if you like, and the changeover has been almost seamless. Iniesta. He's got his wand out tonight, hasn't he, Andres Iniesta?
Yep. Well, that's the best compliment I could pay Tito Villanova, to say that it has been seamless. You know, and you think it's got to be a huge upheaval for Guardiola to leave after what he's done. It hasn't. He's made it look so simple and so correct. Well, even better.
It's a special group of players to inherit. Of that, there's no question.
Yeah, but it's a skill to keep the momentum going, to keep the players interested, to keep them hungry, to keep bringing through more talent. You know, Tello and Cuenca are coming through. These lads, Montoya, they're hungry, and it's knowing when to use them. Look at the skills here. Look how tight it is, and they're keeping possession. That's a great run.
Looking to feed Messi again.
He's looking a hat-trick, Kevin. He's just goal hungry.
Here's Pedro. Iniesta. Oh, superb from Andres Iniesta. What an influence he's had in 11 second-half minutes. Quite outstanding.
This is some goal, Kevin. Great run from Pedro initially. Little acceleration inside, burst of pace, draws defenders to him, and he slips the pass to Andres Iniesta. And there's a player on the overlap, and you think he's going to get it. No. He hammers it, gets his knee over the top of it. He strikes it so well off the underside of the bar. Nothing the goalkeeper can do about that. Just a wonderful world-class strike from a world-class player.
Well, they've simply destroyed one of these sides with the best defensive record, or one of the best in La Liga this season in Levante. I've just had no answer to it.
Isn't it great to see Tito Villanova celebrating it like that as well? It shows you how much it means to him. You know, and they're already 2-0 up and looking in cruise control, but it's great after creating 2 goals. Andres Iniesta gets himself a goal, and it's a wonderful goal.
And the concern for all the top clubs around Europe is the youth in this team. As I mentioned in first half commentary, all of the 11 out there have come through the famed La Masia Academy. And when you look at the ages of Jordi Alba, 23, Busquets, 24, Piqué, Pedro, Fabregas, Messi, all still only 25 years old.
Yeah, this team's going to be around for a long time. It really is. And I'm pleased. And yes, you know, that's his first league goal, Kevin, of the season. He's got 2 goals, but both in cup competitions, and he'll enjoy scoring that one. Now here's Pedro. He could do with the goal himself.
Can't find a way past Juan Fran, but it will be a corner. And this is becoming a very steep hill for Levante to try and negotiate. Iniesta and Messi have illuminated this second half. Xavi.
Almost.
Look who was the furthest player forward. Gerard Piqué.
Almost. He went up and he stayed up, but at 3-0, you know, they can afford to do this.
That was very much a false number 9, Piqué. Montoya came on during the first half for the injured Dani Alves. Levante going to make a substitution. Pedro Rios, who's a winger, is stripped and ready to come on. Here's Pedro. This time he gets beyond Juan Fran.
He's done that very well in the second half, coming inside, accelerating, causing problems for the Levante defence.
Here comes the Levante change. Alzar making way. It's a straight swap with Pedro Rios. Well, if Messi, Gerry, plays every game to the end of December, it'll be 8 matches for him to find, what is it now, 4 goals.
Well, he's scoring 2 goals a game at the minute, Kevin. The last 2 or 3 games, he's sticking a couple in every time he plays, so he won't need all 8 games, trust me.
So he's heading for nearly 100 in the calendar year.
He could do. He could certainly get into the 90s, no problem.
Well on their way to stretching the lead once again over Atletico Madrid to 3 points. I think the most telling statistic, a yawning 11-point gap now over Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid. That's going to be hard to claw back, almost impossible.
Yep, I would agree with you. Thing is, Kevin, you know, they had a long trip to Moscow, and that was a difficult trip, and yet they won the game comfortably and played very good football, and they've come here to Levante, same players bar one, and they've turned it on once again. I just thought Real Madrid didn't look as sharp, looked a little bit lackluster and tired from the Manchester trip.
Here's the sorcerer-in-chief again, Iniesta, Fabregas! It's another picture book goal from Barcelona, another assist for the brilliant Iniesta, and Fabregas makes it 4 goals in what, little over 17 second half minutes.
Yeah, once they broke the floodgates opened, you know, the first goal was the key. That's 4th goal of the season for Cesc in terms of league. He's got 2 others in cup competitions, but again, he's playing some great football. He's the top assist maker in the Spanish football, and he's good to see him getting on. He's playing a little bit deeper. He's allowed Iniesta to play in that final third, but he's come past, overlap, great pass from Iniesta, which takes out the goalkeeper. Great awareness as well. That's the one thing about this team, that the players are aware of everybody's position, and it's a super finish because it's a tight angle once he goes round the keeper. Great goal. And it's looking like it's going to be more, Kevin. 4-0 and counting. There's another 27 minutes left on the clock.
There'll be almost as many Barcelona fans in this stadium as those with an allegiance to Levante. Packed house in the city of Valencia Stadium on the home side. They're taking a brutal hammering in this second half after doing so well in that first 45.
I just think their concentration levels were broken. You come out the second half and it's going to take them a little while to get back into it. Maybe the comfort zone of being in the changing rooms and being told how well they've done, and they have to keep vigilant and not let their guard down, and that's exactly what they did. A minute and 20 seconds into the second half, they allowed the little man space and time to collect the ball, and he does what he does best. He put it in the back of the net.
Here's Puyol.
You have to look at the results, though, Kevin, with Puyol and Piqué on the side together. They don't lose, do they? They just don't lose. 20 months was the last time. And remember, we did that game, Osasuna, and it was in horrible conditions. I think it was January or February, and the weather was awful. It was wet. Maybe even the game shouldn't have played, but they played it, and 3 chances and scored. Now there's a chance here for Martins.
Mistake. And Martins forces the save out of Valdez. That was sloppy in Barcelona.
Well, that's what they do sometimes, though, when they're comfortable. Get a little bit complacent at the back.
This is Juanfran.
Blocked down by Montoya. This is the mistake, and it's hit back by, I think it's Busquets, is it? One of the Barcelona defenders. That's why he's not offside. Good save, Victor Valdez. And that's an art in itself, Kevin, when you've had nothing to do for 65 minutes and then you have to make a top quality save.
Here's Diop.
No pressure, though, from Messi.
Piqué eventually winning the free kick.
Well, it's Paquero's pulling out his shirt. I think that's what the free kick was given for initially.
Here's Messi. Pedro. And still Pedro.
He's been misfiring this season a little bit, Pedro. He could do with the goal I said earlier. He's doing well in terms of creating for other people, but he's not hitting the target as regularly as he used to, Kevin. And you can see that in his confidence here. He didn't look comfortable striking that.
Looking for his first goal in 17 games, Pedro, tonight. Martins coming off. Had that chance in the first half, and the one just a moment or two ago which forced the save out of Victor Valdez. It's going to be Encargó to replace him. Came on a free from second division Elche last summer.
Angel Rodriguez. I think he was touch and go whether he was playing tonight anyway. Obafemi Martins, he had a calf strain, and I suppose with the game over at 4-0, there's no point in taking a risk. Passes on to Pedro.
Take up the opportunity to watch an online game. Go to Sky Sports Extra for all the details and see Zaragoza Celta 8 o'clock Monday, and then our highlights program Revista with Scott and his guests on Tuesday 6:30. Sky Sports 2 HD for that. Fabregas. Messi. Pedro in space. It might drop here for Messi. Oh. And still, Lionel Messi sets it up for Pedro. Can't get the shot away. Well, let off for Levante.
It was. I think Pedro again taking a touch was what let him down, Kevin. He needed to just strike it first time as Messi teed it up for him. But they're creating chances every couple of minutes now. They may not be finished at 4-0.
Xavi Hernandez. Messi.
Some tackle from Ballesteros. Little dink over the top, and Ballesteros was making sure it didn't reach the target. You see Cesc is coming in trying to get himself a second goal. And this is the chance. Messi so alert, so lively, skips past the goalkeeper, turns, sets it up now, hit it right foot first time. You don't get any more time than that. You've got to take it early on, and the fact that he hasn't scored for 17 games is very evident, Kevin.
Xavi. The best efforts of Messi to try and keep the attack alive.
Well, it was a tough ball to control, but that man came very close to doing that. That pass from Xavi.
Villanova's enjoying what he's watching in this second half, so not in any mood to make his second substitution of the game. The first enforced upon him when Dani Alves picked up that early first half injury. Look at those possession stats.
Away from home, Kevin.
And the key is making the ball retention pay now.
It was always the first goal in horse, soon they could get the breakthrough, and it came early in the second half, and the second came quickly after that. And that was the resilience of this Levante side, broken totally. And now they've made it easy for themselves.
Well, Real Madrid needed a late winning goal from their young striker Morata in this stadium a fortnight ago, and a 2-1 win. It's going to be much more of a stroll, and so it would appear, for Barcelona here. Here's Pedro Rios.
The pace of Jordi Alba.
He's swift, isn't he?
He's so quick. He's made up 3 or 4 yards, and he's kept it in play as well.
Fabulous play from the Barcelona left back. Here's Baquero.
Well, Angel was coming back from an offside position and couldn't do anything about it. But they're in a very comfortable position now, Barcelona. They're in comfort zone, they can keep the ball, and they're good at doing that. It's just saw the stats, 80% possession. And they're still going to create more chances in this final 10 minutes.
Mentioned those Catalan elections earlier. The pro-independence politicians hoping to receive a mandate for a referendum to decide on whether Catalonia breaks away from the rest of Spain.
That was the other big result of the night. There was 2 big results. I think one of the outcomes is pretty predictable now.
Well, I'd hesitate to say there's been times over the last few years, Gerry, when Barcelona have had independence and the rest of football, when they've been at their very best, they have played another game.
Absolutely. They've set standards for themselves and others, and you know, a lot of teams would love to play the way they do, and I don't think that's a foul. I think he's won the ball cleanly, says Fabregas, and again Juanfran loves to have it. He's not even touched his leg. He's won the ball cleanly there. Juanfran's made a complete meal out of it. Fabregas has got a yellow card.
First booking of the game. Adriano coming on to replace Jordi Alba. Adriano's been out for 3 weeks with injury. And Michel is going to come on for Levante.
That's good to see. Adriano coming back in again. Very versatile player. Give Jordi Alba a rest.
Juan Lu making way for Michel.
He's put in a real stint. Juan Lu's worked his socks off. Michel Herrero. There's lots of Michels about, Kevin. He's one of about 6 that there are in the Spanish league.
Well, there was another Michel, more of a young midfield player that was at Valencia, where this Michel is linked up via the other club in this city to join the ranks of Levante. Michel is a forward. Quarter of an hour to go. And Barcelona closing in on that Real Madrid record of 91-92. They'll equal it tonight. 12 wins and a draw from the opening 13 games to a La Liga season.
You think about it, you have to pay credit to Celtic for what they did in the Champions League, winning against Barcelona. All credit to them. Now Pedro, and he's got several blue shirts in front of him.
Barcelona will have a chance to create new best figures in La Liga for the start to a campaign when they play their next league game, which will be at home to Athletic Bilbao. Prior to that, they've got a Copa del Rey game against Alaves, which they should negotiate quite comfortably against an Alaves side, and now playing in the regional leagues, having once been at the top.
Well, do you remember the game against Liverpool? Was it UEFA Cup?
Yep.
Fabulous game.
5-4.
Fantastic game. Great game of football.
One of the great European finals,
absolutely.
wasn't it? Barcelona 3 up, by the way, after the first leg of that Copa del Rey match. Another player on his way back from injury, Thiago Alcantara. He's going to get a few minutes out here. He's been out a little longer than Adriano. 2 months out with a knee problem, Thiago. Listen to the ovation from both sets of fans. As somebody will look back on in years to come as one of the all-time greats, Xavi Hernandez. An inspiration.
Fantastic. He's just one of the most complete midfield players I've ever seen. Certainly over the last 5 or 10 years in Spain, he's been magnificent. I don't see anybody better.
Levante looking for late consolation. It may get undone here because Messi's looking for a pass, which wasn't forthcoming in the end, and they regathered their ground well there, the home side. Problem for Iborra.
Well, the good news is Abidal looks like he's going to be returning in about 4 or 5 weeks' time, Kevin. Second half of the season. That's excellent news.
And he's back, Eric Abidal, after his problems with a cancerous tumour, which we have to hope that he's now in remission of again. And he's been in the gym working hard.
Certainly has.
Hopes to be back sometime in January. Immensely popular in the dressing room, Eric Abidal.
They get everybody fit and well again. It's a good squad. You know, and Eric Abidal, he's tall, and he can play left back and he can play centre back. He would be a very good acquisition to the squad once again. But then it's trying to find places for all these stars in the side. They're all very good players in their own right. Now Pedro.
Strong bench tonight, and still not in the 18 at all. David Villa and Alexis Sanchez, who are both injured. This is the young winger Cuenca, who's had a knee ligament problem, hasn't played at all this season.
Yeah. Showed a lot of promise last season, didn't he, Kevin? Technically very good.
In by Pedro Rios, and Puyol has conceded the corner.
Valdez must love it when Puyol and Piqué play in front of him. That assurance, knowing that they're no nonsense and they can keep clean sheets. I say that now, maybe they'll concede a goal.
Up goes Juanfran. Offside Levante.
Iborra, they're saying, was off. There was more than Iborra off. There was 2 or 3 of them.
Messi's goals tonight, by the way, take him to 10th in the all-time list of goal scorers in La Liga. He's passed Real Madrid's Santillana. 188 in the league. Messi's now got all-time record. Athletic Bilbao's Zara with 251.
Messi's only 25, Kevin. That's the frightening statistic. And he's going to play for another 10 years.
I was going to say he'll probably beat it before the end of next season.
Yep.
If he carries on the rate he is scoring. Always keen, though, Leo Messi, to play down his achievements, as it's all about winning trophies, individual awards, not at the forefront of his mind, but most surely coming his way. Iniesta. Iniesta. Piqué. Thiago. Well, for those who've been out since the start for Levante, some very tired legs on that pitch. They've had to do so much chasing.
Well, that's what you do to try and win the ball back against these players. They're so technically gifted, Kevin. They keep the ball so well. They gradually wear the opposition down. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes, it might take an hour. But they just keep at it, and they just keep pushing and pushing until something gives. When it was 0-0, I suppose there's always the hope that you can score on the break and maybe take a lead. And they had a few chances in the first half, didn't they? It was a good game in the first half. The second half, well, it's been one-way traffic.
Adriano. Now Angel. Earns the free kick. Chance for Levante to push Some players forward here in search of what is only going to be scant consolation. Opportunity for Lel to get a cross in here now. And Juanfran.
Oh, a little bit of a chance for glory for Juanfran. He got it back on his favourite left foot. And Lel does brilliant, really does do well to get into the byline and cut the ball back. But Juanfran's got to score, Kevin, or at least hit the target, hasn't he? He's leaning back. That's well over the top. He's not happy with himself.
Here's Barquero. Adriano getting the better there of Pedro Rios. Lots of space for Iniesta.
3-on-3, Kevin.
Messi. Pedro. Not quite the right way to pass from Lionel Messi.
Oh, he's unlucky, Busquets. His anticipation was great there.
One from the waste of a free kick. Thiago just overdoing it there. Michel. The referee says penalty. Carlos Puyol leads the protests, and the referee Perez Montero was right up close to the action, and he saw it as a penalty kick, Gerry.
Let's have a look here. Well, if it's that one, it's outside the penalty area. Doesn't hit him on the arm, Kevin. Not that I can see. Has he given it for the first one?
Just came off the bottom of his elbow, but it looked like the ball to arm rather than vice versa.
But he's appealing for it before that, Kevin. He's appealing for it now. There's a handball there, but that's outside the area, and he's got his hand up now. I think if he's given it for the first one, it's definitely outside the area.
From that angle, it doesn't seem to brush the left elbow of Puyol, but it's a contentious one, certainly. And Barquero has the chance to give Levante consolation.
Oh.
Brilliant from Valdez. It's a wonderful second save. The first one was more comfortable. It wasn't the greatest penalty, but he's determined for a clean sheet here, Victor Valdez.
Well, I actually think justice has been done. I didn't think it was a penalty kick. And that's very casual from Barquero. And he saves it once, twice. And credit to Victor Valdez. He is a good shot stopper. He guesses right. Well, more credit to him. Yeah, Michel was appealing for the penalty. He had his hands up, Kevin, from when the ball was outside the box. I wonder, did the referee give it for that?
Well, if he did, he should have awarded the free kick. As we saw, it was far enough outside of the 18-yard line for the referee not to have made an error. Slice of the Camp Nou is pitched up tonight at the City of Valencia Stadium. They've played like the home team, they invariably do on the road. And the lucky Barcelona fans that have been in here have witnessed a sumptuous second-half performance. Busquets. Montoya. Fabregas. Still passing the ball around with supreme accuracy. Here's Pedro. Decent block from Juanfran.
It's too casual for me from Bakero. You give credit for the shot stopping and reflexes of Victor Valdez. He'll be looking for the Zamora again this year, won't he?
He's had a fair few of those, hasn't he? In his glory years. Fabregas turned away by Ballesteros. Couple of minutes then.
I think if you're a Levante fan, you're pleased it's only a couple of minutes. There's been a lot of substitutions as well, Kevin. There's been 6 substitutes.
Messi. Looking for 22nd hat-trick of his supreme Barcelona career.
Outside the area, but there's plenty of venom in it. It just bounces in front of Manua and gets it at the second attempt. So one last chance maybe for Levante to get a consolation goal.
Well, they probably deserve one for their first half display. It's Pedro Rios. Good ball in. Nobody in a Levante shirt they get a touch. Outstanding dummy that from Pedro. Juanfran trailing in his wake.
Oh, it's a pity. You know, it was a great little step over. He sucked Juanfran in, and then the final ball's let him down. He's had a good game. I'd love to see him get a goal. There's the step over. Brilliant. Juanfran, very experienced, but he fell for that one.
Well, he almost had to buy a ticket to get back in, Juanfran. See ya. What about this second half performance, Gerry? Very convincing.
It is, but again, it's the breakthrough and getting it in the first couple of minutes of the second half. That just knocked, I thought, Levante for 6, and it left lots of spaces afterwards. You know, it's like the initial breakthrough is what they needed, and once they got it, they cruised after that.
Well, they huffed and puffed Barcelona in the first half. Levante defended stoically, but Martinez's side well beaten in the end. Iniesta at the heart of it. 4-0 Barca.